So I just want to talk about a couple stocks that I'm interested in for the next few weeks. Definitely this coming trading week of what that'll be the 20th, September 20th. So first one gonna be Roku. And as you can see, Roku just been selling off ever since late July. And it got to the point where it was oversold on the RSI. And you sort of kind of almost had some bullish divergence. Not quite, but it's kind of there. What you're really more interested in is the fact that you got some bullish pin bars on the daily chart. So the first one here, you got one here, and this one I kind of would call more. It's kind of like a doji, kind of want to be a doji, gravestone doji type thing. I ain't really giving putting too much faith in that candle there. But when you swinging, you don't really care too much about one specific candle on the daily chart. That's what piqued my interest when we first saw the bullish pin bar, because we didn't know where it was going to stop. And what we're looking for here is for Roku to maintain its trend line. And you can see on the weekly chart that we getting bullish pin bar vibes. See, now this one was a nasty bullish pin bar. So I like that one. This one, it's giving me doji vibes, but it's a little bullish pin bar. So as long as we can get Roku to go above the highs of that bullish pin bar and break above, I'll call it 330, we probably gonna get back up in the 350 to 370 range, and we should make some good money off some swings that we're holding. And that's the beauty of swinging. You just kind of buy it and just wait. Of course, you want to have your stop losses and stuff set. So with Zoom, now Zoom is the beauty. First off, they disrespected Zoom after earnings, and it had a humongous gap down, right? So it dropped from, call it, about 340 all the way down to like 288, like after one night after earnings or whatever. So you got this big gap that they got to fill. And on average, I think it's like 3 months or 12 months or something like that, that gaps get filled. So I'm already swinging Zoom calls November and December. I had some Octobers, but I kind of punked out of them and sold them for a small profit. I was buying them right here. I guess I got in a little too early. I called myself trying to time it perfectly, but as you can see here, you got the last big sell-off you had from Zoom. It sold off like crazy. So you got the initial rocket back in 2020 that was going crazy. Then you had a big sell-off, right? And the last time you had a meaningful bounce was here. So you got a very good demand zone here, and that's what people like. That's your support area. When a stock start falling, you want to look at the most recent support area, demand area. That's what people buying. You see how this sold off? You got a nice big bullish engulfing. You got a nice bullish pin bar. You know the buy right here. So the stock come back, you know the buy right here. So let's make a little rectangle. This was my buy zone, right? So basically, when that thing got under, like, once it got close to like 280, under 280, I was comfortable with buying. But I got a little greedy. I started buying right here a little bit for whatever reason. Couldn't explain it. So to make it easier for swinging, I like to look at the weekly chart. You can see on the weekly chart, it's very clear as day. We all knew where Zoom was about to bounce at. So we all knew when it got down to like 270, 275, it was going to bounce. So looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see it a little bit clearer too, right? So these are all the time frames that I like to look at, and I would even want to extend this out a little bit to the downside, so I just know where to buy, right? So looking at a 4-hour chart, you can see that you're getting good demand all up in this area. So it was no one specific price that I knew that I absolutely needed to buy. So really, I was buying in this whole $10 range, but like the goofy that I was being, I started buying a little bit early up here. And you can't play that game with tech contracts. They'll bleed you dry. So I called the bottom. I mean, you could just tell that it was definitely finna bounce 273.5. And I mean, it's been going on ever since then. I hope it do come back and pull back a little bit for us so we can get back into October's for cheap. But I'm holding November and December swings for now. And I mean, honestly, I'm probably never gonna sell them until this gap get filled, or just crazy profitable. But or of course some ridiculous happened and we break below 270. But I mean that's highly doubtful at this point. But that's pretty much, I mean, how you do this. You just I guess the first thing that I should have showed you was that Zoom was oversold. I don't even know what possessed me to start looking at Zoom, but it's oversold, and you can see here, right? So I'll explain the bullish divergence as I can talk through it. So you connect these. Well, all right, hold on. Let me delete this first so it's easier to see. Get all this stuff off the screen for y'all. So we'll put the RSI back up there. So you can see here, right? Connect these 2 points on the graph. So all these bars, colorful bars, is telling you how much the price changed on that day. So I connect these two here. And if I look at the RSI, well, first off, the prices I see is going down. But when I look at the RSI was going up. So that right there is called bullish divergence. So that's giving you a good indication that this stock is at a bottom and it's probably about to bounce. You put that in conjunction with the fact that, first of all, it was oversold anyway. And then more so, you in a very good demand zone, like we just talked about. There's a high probability that Zoom was about to bounce. Now, what we're looking for going forward is going to be that Zoom starts to break above the highs that it started to set up this past week. So, I mean, it ain't nothing. I mean, it broke out above 287. So I kind of definitely thought would have been stuck at 286. But you got some good buying here. And I know I saw that Kathy Woods had been buying too. So really, I'm not too concerned about Zoom stopping until it probably get back to this consolidation period here, like 300 to 306, right? So you break above 307, this thing is gone. It definitely is going to fill a good portion of that gap. So I couldn't see why Zoom being such a profitable company, like people fail to realize that Zoom was profitable before the pandemic. So that was one of the things that really piqued my interest. What got us going here was some news that Zoom, I guess the ISS had told the 5/9 shareholders to reject the all share takeover bid. So I think that's officially going to be determined on September 30th of this year. They trying to buy Zoom, trying to buy 5/9. So that's some news that we're looking out for. Zoom got like this Zoom phone. I don't know the specifics behind it, but it's supposed to be, I guess, a good thing for them. I mean, we'll see how that turn out. And at this point, I felt after the gap down from earnings, they didn't report bad earnings. They just reported realistic earnings. That's what happened. I think the price of Zoom stock is now priced for reality. So after earnings, they just issued guidance that was less than what Wall Street expected. And I mean, I'd be feeling like, what get me in trouble, I be feeling like there's no way that anybody in their right mind thought that Zoom would be making money like they was making during the pandemic. Like everybody knew that pandemic, you know what I'm saying? They stock went crazy. Like, come on, who would have really thought that they would have kept making that same type of money? But regardless, we still, a lot of people still working from home. A lot of people still using Zoom. It's not just going away. You feel me? So like, they're gonna have continued revenue growth, and their revenue growth was like 54% in that last earnings report. It just wasn't the 10 billion% that Wall Street be expecting. So this must be so irrational. And I'd be like, bro, anybody with common sense knew that they was gonna have to say that, but the stock sold off like crazy. Cause like, I mean, I don't get it. Zoom is actually debt free, so that is crazy for a tech stock of this magnitude. The quarter over quarter growth for the past 4 quarters, it decreased from like 17.1 to 13.5, 8.4 to 6.8. That's still good reporting. So with all that being said, I'm definitely bullish on Zoom. Like I said, Kathy Woods had bought some, I think late August. And the past couple of days I saw that she had bought some. So with that, I mean, that basically concludes Zoom. So you got, I mean, from a fundamental standpoint and from a technical standpoint, I'm getting all types of buy indications. So we'll see what it do here. Market been wilding lately, especially with all this September stuff going on. Everybody try to say the market crashed or whatever, or going to correct and all that stuff. But I'm trying to tune that noise out. I ain't too concerned about that. We'll talk about STNE also, because this is basically, I'm going to throw this one for y'all too. So this is Stone Cold. They're a fintech company. And same thing, bro. They oversold. First off, I already want to buy them because they oversold. So then I'm like, all right, when do I buy them? So I know now is a good time to buy them. Look at how we got the same thing. Price decreasing, but the RSI, the relative strength index, is increasing, right? So it's higher, right? So you got bullish divergence, which is saying that your price is decreasing, but your relative strength index is increasing. It don't always have to be the relative strength index. It could be the MACD. It just has to be an oscillator. And we don't have it there on the MACD. But something that you'll be looking out for with the MACD would be for the MACD to cross back green. That'll be another buy signal you get. But, there's a bunch of things that you can use in conjunction with each other to give yourself a good time to buy. And you'll see, too, that Stone Cold is actually back at, like, pre-pandemic prices. So the pandemic hit in 2020 right here. Everything crashed. I mean, Stone Cold's already this high, you feel me? So I feel like it's at a good buy. I mean, this stock was like 94 or something. Yeah, 95 earlier this year. Oh, yeah, earlier this year. So, I mean, it's not like it's out of reach to be buying it right now. I'm probably going to get some inside of my IRA, Roth IRA and my HSA, right? Just so I can have some cheap shares in there. And I'll probably hold them. I mean, we'll see how I do. I think we could break, I think it has some resistance here before too. So if we can get back above like this level, which I think is very possible, I mean, we could definitely break out. Once we get back above 45, we get above 45, I think we definitely going back to test 55. And some contracts on that is going to go crazy. I probably get some 45 strike January 2022 calls just to get a couple months, see how I like it over a few days. I'm going to get some Octobers as well, but I'm going to probably sell them Octobers as soon as they in the money. So that's how I'm rocking for Stone Cold. Tyson. We'll talk about Tyson too. Tyson, and it's so crazy because I don't know what trading view we doing, but like I had all these stocks charted, but they like, I don't know, it's like my charts be resetting or something. It's crazy. But you see, it was flagging. I mean, it is flagging, kinda wedging, flagging. I don't know what to call it. But basically, what you do in all of this is, well, you can see that line was placed. I thought it was breaking out. So this line, this yellow line, is just basically how far up it jumped. And once it break out of this flag, falling wedge, whatever it is going to be, this line is then going to be how you suspect it's going to run up. So I'm going to swing some 2022 contracts whenever they do break out. I think it's probably about to break out. And you can see here, like I talked about that bullish divergence, Tyson had bullish divergence. Look at this RSI when it first got oversold right here. This RSI got oversold and price was decreasing. Remember, this is our relative strength index. So you see price was increasing. Let me make that a little bit better. This little thing being in the way sometimes. So you can see the price was increasing or decreasing while the relative strength index was increasing. That's your first sign to buy. So you got a bullish pin bar here. So I mean, it was a good time to buy. And I mean, it was at 69. Y'all already know what time it is. So you had a nice breakout right here. It came back to test this old resistance, which is now would have been considered support. So you'd have been buying up in here, and man, you would have had yourself a monster play. A guy in our Discord, he actually been buying Tyson since the beginning of time. So he had some contracts that he started to shed up in here. But best believe we're gonna get back up in there. And also, like I said, I had all this charted. I don't know why it's playing games with me, but we'll do a quick rough Fibonacci sequence. You can see it's red at the golden ratio, that 0.618. So anywhere about 75, I'd be willing to buy it. I'm probably gonna honestly wait for the breakout just because there's so many good plays that I don't need to like really sit and wait for Tyson. Nucor, the other love of my life, had a nasty breakout. I ain't catch none of this, but they're a good inflationary play. They're gonna make big money. It's a steel company, and that's just a few stocks that we're looking at and why we're looking at them. I guess I don't know if this is I don't know what to call this thing. It's like it's flagging. I guess it's flagging. We'll see whenever it finally actually break out or something. But shoot, I want them to keep pulling back. I want them to come back to like 100. I feel like that's where people are gonna be wanting to buy. And if you look, Fibonacci sequence also is also at its golden ratio. So there's a lot of good plays out there, man. We'll see what we catch. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. I know it's been a minute. We definitely made a lot of progress with our trading and our fundamentals and technical analysis and stuff. So we got a Discord, investorsanonymous.net. You can go there and join it. You go to 6fatdaddy9 on Instagram. Click the link in the bio. Just follow the page, all that stuff. Ticker Talk is the same, 6fatdaddy9. So come on now, start trading.